All right, and we are live with Writing Sprint Wednesday. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is, what is it, August 27th today. We are almost at the end of summer, and it both flew by and kind of dragged at points. I don't know about you. Let me know in the chat or the comments if you're using this for accountability afterwards how your summer has gone. We'll chat about that later. I'm going to say some hellos, but first, what's on deck? Well, it is 3 20-minute sprints with 5-minute breaks in between. And I'm dropping the link to the first one in the chat now with all the links down below me if you want to join. You guys can't see it, but I have a Hank lurking behind the scenes here.
Hi, Doug.
Hello, Hank.
How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm more excellent. A, now that you're here, and B, I just saw that it's Kyo's birthday. So
Happy birthday, Keo. I
what?
hope it's the best one you've ever had.
Hank, are you going to join me for some sprints?
I'm going to be sprinting on my own. I was actually
Okay.
popping in to test my video and audio before today's show, and I said, you know what? Let me just pop in on Doug real quick and just give
We
everybody a
always love
little
having you.
little Hank pep talk for getting those words written today.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that show before I say hellos to folks?
So today we're talking with Craig Martell, and if you are familiar with indie publishing at all over the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, Craig has been the driving force behind this movement called 20 books to 50K, and which then spawned a Facebook group, 20 books to 50K, and then a series of in-person conventions called 20 Books and 20 Books Vegas, 20 Books London, all over the world. And Craig is going to talk with us today about taking all the stuff that we've learned in hashtag Indie Summer and building a launch plan and taking all the good stuff that you've done and putting it into action. So that's
Excellent.
what's going on in, right after your sprints.
Yeah, 2 o'clock. I'll be sure to share the link after our last sprint so that people can just head on over there. But I mean, if you aren't subscribed to our YouTube channel, if you don't have those handy notifications turned on, what the heck's happening anyway?
What is life?
All right, I do want to say some hellos. You're obviously welcome to hang around and join me on screen or sprint to the background, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to say hello to Elena, who got here over an hour and 15 minutes early. I love the dedication. Hello, Elena, and NJ, also one of the early birds. Aaron is here. Hello, Aaron. Erica, hello. I saw some great chat going on about hair and getting some authenticity about how hair works, which seems like a small detail, but adds a lot of depth to a story if you can nail those accurate details rather than just guessing. Yeah, Hank, you might need to rely on some experts for DW is here as well, and Iva, hello, and Akio, we already said happy birthday to, but again, hello. And let me keep scrolling here. Rosalinda is here as well. Hello, Rosalinda. But yeah, I think that covers everyone who has said hi in the chat. Hello to anyone who hasn't said hi in the chat or who is watching this afterwards. Hank, what are you going to be working on before your show?
I am working on edits for a
Nice.
book that releases in January.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Excellent.
it's a little ways out, but sometimes you get edits back and you thank God that you've got a little ways. No, there aren't big structural things, but this is book 3 in a trilogy, so I'm going back and making sure all of the T's are
Mhm.
crossed and I's dotted and all that good stuff. And I feel like that I've been in edits for 6 months and probably will be for another 6 months because after this trilogy, I've got a second trilogy that's in the works, and it's
Is
my
that
life is
trilogy
editing.
related to Thorn's Legacy?
No, it's a separate thing. It's still sci-fi adventure, but it's about a modern day archaeologist who uncovers a thing that is like a Stargate that opens into a sci-fi adventure. So,
Very exciting.
yeah, it's called the
All
Legacy
right.
Wars.
I'm going to mute myself. Everyone, happy writing. I'll see you in
Yeah.
20 minutes.
See you guys.
All right, everyone, and we are done. So ends our first sprint of the day. How did everyone do? Let me grab this and pop it into the second sprint and then share that sprint link with you. As always, you'll find it in the description down below me, and you can use the link at the top of the sprint to get to the next one. The timer gets me every time. TW says, Rudik asked if I'm writing a fictional book. I am. I am currently here. Let me do this. I'm currently working on an urban fantasy story called Nightshade. And back when I was just a wee baby writer, back when, like, before I released my first book, I was writing a bunch of short stories called Nightshade. And I always loved the idea. I loved the premise, but I never got around to actually writing more short stories or revisiting them and making them better. And now that I'm just a better author than I was before my first book, I want to take them, and I thought about doing short stories again, maybe doing some kind of serial thing, but really I want to do like an ongoing episodic urban fantasy series, like the ones that I did when I co-authored with Mike Massey. So that's what I'm doing. I'm revisiting those. I'm revisiting the world, the characters, making them better, making them more of what I envision them to be now. And I'm thinking, this is just a thought, so don't hold me to it. I'm thinking I want to write the first six. They're going to be shorter, 60 to 70,000 words. I want to write the first six before I release one of them. Taking a page from Marilyn's book. I don't know if Marilyn's with us today, but Marilyn has like 7 books done in a series and has published a single one. And there's power to that, and there's things you can do with that you can't do if you're just publishing as you go. Let's see what's going on. Ashley joined late because of traffic and people talking at the staff meeting, but still got 400 words. Aaron got 91. Excellent. Erica 297. And NJ is working on the horror again, hoping to pass along. I'd love to read it. Can't wait till that one's done. And NJ, you said that your writing workshop starts a week from today. You're so pumped, and I'm so pumped for you, but I want to know more about it. Let me know. Let me know what's going on in that, and what the details are. I'm assuming it's still for young writers. If it's anything like the last thing you did, but yeah, let us know. Elena almost finished a section about the family of your character. That's awesome. Great work, Elena. You're putting in a lot of effort into your story, and I'm sure it's going to pay off. That's awesome. Um, yeah. So Craig Martell, who Hank's going to be chatting with after this at 2 o'clock Eastern. Um, as Hank said, he's the one of the founders of 20 Books to 50K. And if you've never heard of that before, the idea was that back when it was founded, if you write and publish 20 or indie publish 20 books, then it's pretty easy to get passive income of $50,000 a year. Passive in quotes because you just have to market them after they're written and published, but you still have to put in all the work to write them and publish them. That became one of the largest indie author groups on the planet. And then, as Hank said, turned into conventions. And 20 Books Vegas has since turned into Author Nation, which is the largest indie author event, convention, what have you, in the world. That happens every year in Vegas. I've never been able to go myself, but it is, if you go, that's where people who are making 5, 6, even 7-figure numbers with their books go to hang out and network. And places like Dabble has a booth where we chat with authors and show them what's what, their presentations, their workshops, and what have you. So it's a pretty cool event. Really excited to hear from Craig. I was on his podcast once. We mostly chatted about Marvel movies, which was a ton of fun. I used to do a whole bunch of podcast circuits for my writing. Haven't in a while. Maybe I will again. Who knows? And Rosalind is saying Craig is the best human on the planet. Yeah, he's a really good guy. But 20 Books 50K is the reason you're an author today. I love to hear that. That's fantastic. Julia wrote 148 words on the short story rewrite, hunting down the passive voice. It can get sneaky and trick you sometimes. So good job looking out for that. NJ, Erica, what is the event called again? Like the big convention? It's called Author Nation. I'll put it in the chat here. There we go. And I can find a link to it during our next break. NJ's volunteering at an elementary school to teach 3rd to 8th graders how to write fiction. This year we get 2 days a week. Wednesday in the library to learn, Thursday in the classroom to sprint. That's so cool. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, we have 10 seconds until our next sprint starts. Time just flies by, but let's revisit that afterwards because that's so cool. Okay, happy sprinting, everyone. I'll talk to you in 20. All right, everyone. So ends our second sprint of the day. I got 888 that time around, but got a real big feeling that I'm getting close to a point where I just need to consult my notes a little bit more. So if you look at the screen, you might see me just staring off into space while I read whatever I plan next. Let me grab the link for the next sprint, drop it in the chat here, and make my face big like that. All right. Um, all right. And is it pronounced Hanuli? Please, I know I asked before. I think I got it wrong before. Let me know. But joined late. Welcome. Welcome. Ashley got 633 that time around. How did everybody else do? What was it that I wanted to mention before? Oh, yeah. NJ volunteering at an elementary school, teach 3rd to 8th graders how to write fiction. And you get 2 days a week this week. I think that's really cool. And that's actually something I want to pursue more. Um, I've mentioned this before, but my better half is a teacher. She teaches French, but she teaches, grades 6 through 8 normally, depending on the year. And she wants me to run a D&D club at her school because a lot of the kids are interested in D&D. And I've thought about it, but I really want to get into doing something that involves writing. And D&D is kind of adjacent. I know we chat about it all the time here because it is storytelling, it is still a creative expression and whatnot, but there is such a growing trend amongst kids and young adults and I mean a growing trend amongst everyone, but especially those demographics of not reading for fun. And when you don't read for fun, you don't usually write for fun either. Reading is generally the gateway into this art of ours. So that's something that I really want to get involved with, is just finding ways to inspire young people to want to write more. And maybe I'll talk to her about doing a writing club or something. I think that would be really cool. The downside is that, the stuff that I write, while it is not, romantically not safe for kids to consume, it's just generally not appropriate for kids to be reading the stuff that I write. It's graphic, it's violent, it's gory. And to that end, if you look up and you see me, writing some swears on the screen or some violence or something, I apologize, but consider this your your warning, I guess. But that's something that I want to do. So anyway, Elena finished up the family part. Now you're going to go work about the typical day of your character. Awesome. Getting to know your character real well. Rosalinda got about 250. Awesome. Hanuli said I got it right. Fantastic. Erica 337. Awesome. Awesome. Horror's turning into a Halloween story for NJ. I love that. Erica learned some new things about your main character. That's great. And the more you know about your main character, the more you can incorporate into your story, but the more organic what you incorporate becomes too. And so it's a win-win to get to know your character. Just don't get so obsessed with getting to know them that you don't write. Right? I'm not saying that's what's happening with Erica or Elena or anyone in the chat here, but spend some time to get to know them. Don't spend all your time getting to know them, or learn about them as you write. Julia is researching the sounds of horses and carriages to incorporate. Cool. NJ, perhaps your D&D campaign can be like a Narnia deal. Writers dropped in the world of stories and have to use their power of creating to fight the darkness of writer's block. That could be a cool campaign to make up, actually. Kio's asked if I thought about creating an RPG journal. I've thought about making some of the sessions that I've made and some of the campaigns and one-offs that I've made for my D&D group into stuff to sell for a couple bucks. I've never thought about making an RPG journal. That'd be cool. Newly, I guess I'll change my username to my real name for now for the sake of it. You don't need to, but that's a growing trend amongst our audience. It's happened to a handful of people. Actually, the writing collab was a challenge for me not to have swearing, gore, and spicy scenes. Abby, welcome, Abby. You used to volunteer at this organization called Right Girl out in LA, and it was so much fun. Okay, fine. That sounds cool, and I guess I'll do it because it's fulfilling for me. It's good for the kids, and it's good for the future of our craft. What do you want me to do? I'll have a 60-day challenge and nano challenge available for my students this year too. That's awesome. You should be hearing more about the 60-day novel challenge in the next couple of weeks as we launch in October. We're trying to figure out some partners. We're trying to figure out what we're doing with it. It's quite different now that Nano's not around. But we'll chat more about it when it becomes available. Anyway, sprint's probably started for you. I'll talk to you in 20 minutes. All right, everyone. That is our third and final sprint of the day done. I got 118, 117 words that time around, which is shocking, to be honest. But yeah, that is the third and final one done. So make sure if you are writing along or if you were writing alongside me in wordsprints.org that you copy and paste your writing out of there. Let me go like that. It will stay on your computer on that device that you were working on for 24 hours before it disappears into the ether. Let's go and see what's happening here. Uh, Elena, the character is a fanfic of another person, so I need to be very specific on some stuff. Okay, excellent. There you go. Rhea. Ray, seriously though, you love this community. Ray, I don't is Rhea Hanuli just changing to the real name? Did this happen, or am I just guessing here and way off base? Keo saying RPG journals are a good way to get people to write, especially young writers, because it essentially turns writing into a game. I love gamification of anything. Give me badges, give me leveling up, give me quests. That's one of the reasons that I took on the 60-day novel challenge so eagerly last year, is because it's just a great way to motivate people. You are Hanuli. Excellent. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so yeah, I'm on board with that, Keo. Absolutely. Ashley got 625 that time for a total of 1665. Awesome. And Rhea got 132 words. Fantastic. Did some Googling. Keo just came to vibe, didn't do a single word. It's your birthday. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to give you any flack, sorry, for not doing something on your birthday and just vibing. That's fine. Rosalinda got 400 for a total of 820. You got half your total in that one alone. That's awesome. Julia got another 100 words. Fantastic. Iva's outlined 3 chapters. Great job. Fantastic. And Keo, that's why you came with the writing quest system in Dabble. Yes, it's awesome. Awesome. Okay, I am going to grab a link for everyone because as we've been chatting about, Hank is going to be chatting with Craig Martell in just 12 minutes or so, and specifically bringing everything together that they've been talking about for Indie Summer, and really talking about a launch plan timeline. So I'm going to drop that link in the chat there. If you are watching this afterwards, then you can use that link to catch up on that live stream as well. Sorry, I had a hiccup. But yeah, it's going to be, even if you aren't interested in indie publishing, a launch plan timeline is something that you can use in any publishing path, right? And the tenets of indie publishing, the mindset behind it, can only benefit you even if you're going traditional publishing, or even if you're publishing like online on your blog or through Substack or through Patreon or your website or what have you. Whatever you're doing, if you are trying to get words out there for people to consume, this is going to be a heck of a conversation. Craig Martell is a wealth of information, up there, in my opinion, with folks like Joanna Penn when it comes to promoting indie authorship. And as Rosalinda said, just one of the best people. So So thank you everybody for joining me. This has been a fantastic day of writing sprints. We have that show coming up. We have Hank hosting sprints tomorrow at 12:30. And then other than that, there's the last Indie Summer live stream Q&A on Friday. Other than that, I guess we will see you next week. Thanks for everything. We'll see you later.